Oh, we're back. It's
Yes.
another Tuesday. Nerds are around. Welcome back, guys.
Hello,
It's your boy-
hello.
What's up? What's up?
It's your boy Law.
It's your boy Sebastian,
Anybody Tone from across the hall?
and we're here to talk about that third episode of Mando. But before we get into the Mandalorian, just a quick few announcements. So, first announcement is we're live every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Friday, we are going to drop a new episode. This week's episode, we get to talk to Matt Schorr about his Kickstarter for the damn it! It's in the description. It's Monster Hunter for Hire. Monster Hunter for Hire is in the description below. Also, to shout out to Wayward Raven. You can also go in the description to get the Kickstarter for Wayward Raven as well. These guys are going for a push. And every Saturday, we just dropped episode 3. Episode 4 is coming out for Inbeon Studios, the Medusa Cascade. Make sure to listen in on your favorite.
Lateral damage.
Yes.
So make sure you listen.
Also, I dropped today because it's been sitting in my Dropbox for forever. The What's Your Story season finale or pre-season finale for the Nerds Around. So I have Tone and Seabass on that. You guys can go check out my podcast.
Oh man,
part
that
one
was
of that. That was so long ago.
That was so long ago, but it was good. It was good.
It was really good. I listened back to it. I loved it.
I wanted to give you a special shout out on that one, but you went into it. There you go.
My bad. Yeah, you can do it. Go ahead.
Well, special shout out. So if you guys haven't listened to TAOS by Law, you could go to any of your favorite podcast app, Anchor, Spotify. He did a great interview with me and Tone. It felt and you hit a lot of great questions on that interview. We got deep into it, and there was just a lot of reminiscing and all that. And me and Tone going, damn, we're a bunch of weird fellas.
The actual season finale will drop on Sunday.
So let's get into what everyone is here for, the Mandalorian. So Tone, you know the warning.
Yes. We are in a spoiler full zone, so Tony Stark has died.
There you go. All right. So, how did you guys feel about this episode of The Mandalorian, episode 3? I mean, it was the shortest episode we've gotten so far.
I'm so bummed.
Yeah,
I'm so bummed we're doing this again. They're doing this again. They start with 54 minutes, then 45, then 35. I'm like,
right,
oh, man.
I was so confused because so let me backtrack. So I watched season 2, episode 1, not realizing that like the season before we only had 30-minute like episodes. So I'm just watching and going, this is great. The next one was like 45. This one said 38, and then you mentioned that they're doing longer episodes, and I'm like, why is it so short? I don't like it.
It's really coming out to be. It may be one of those things where like they filmed the entire thing, and then they edit it down to be episodic. So like the self-contained stories of the episodes are the other pieces, which would make more sense. I mean, it's still annoying because I like that 1 hour of Mando. I mean, but
they're saving it for the DVD. Get the extended cut DVD now. But
I love a Disney Plus exclusive. Like, nah.
Who buys DVDs?
Sebastian does. You got to look at his collection. He has so many.
Yes, I do.
Fair, same, but like, all right.
I love the reference, though. We did get a reference of an AT-AT because the AT-AT is probably one of the only four-legged walkers we've kind of seen in the Star Wars universe that's prominently there. You kind of saw one as a crane when they were lifting his ship up out of that emergency landing, which, again, never let Mando park at all or dock your ship.
Yo,
I mean, his ship was held together by duct tape. Like,
yes, it was.
Yeah.
And no. At the end, it was held together by duct tape.
It's held together by seaweed.
Going in, it was bad. It was not a good look for him.
But I really enjoyed this episode. I feel as a person who has not watched the Clone Wars and who is in season 2 of Rebels, I feel like this episode would have had way more of an impact for me if I had watched those animations. The reveal of Bo-Katan being involved in the live action series. I think it was said that she was going to be involved, but just kind of seeing it, because I was watching it not sure who she was until the end when she's like looking for the Darksaber, and I had read about the Darksaber and all that other stuff.
I was gonna say there. I think Variant did an episode about the Darksaber where they explain like its story about like its origin and whatever the case is, and that kind of gave me information about her, so it wasn't as like jarring when I did see her eventually. I'll send you the link for the video, but
Cool.
it essentially means we just have to start binging and put the old animated universe of Star Wars on our watch list.
Yeah.
they're taking
Mostly
a
me
lot.
and you, Tone, because who knows how long it takes before this one gets to it.
Hey.
I'm telling the
Anyway.
truth.
Yeah.
Prove me
Anyway.
wrong.
I mean,
Prove me wrong.
Rebels is really good. I really enjoyed Rebels. Me and Antonio watch it, but I tried watching Clone Wars, and it's really long, and it's a little campy in the beginning, from what I understand, but then it gets really good in the middle and the end, and that's kind of where it picks up. So I'm not at that point yet. So I'm still at that campiness of it.
But I love that they're doing a lot of references to the shows.
Half the season of Clone Wars.
Oh, we just got. Yep, here we go. Watch Rebels. Yes, we will.
Yes.
We will. It's on the list.
Yes,
I have to start from Clone Wars. Sean says you don't have to like to talk about the show as he's a big man.
Wow.
What's up, Charlie?
Wow. You can leave. You can leave.
but
I don't need. We don't need that negativity in our show.
Not at all.
But getting back to it, I mean,
who invited him?
it still shows the world building that they're doing, because like you get into this dark, dank town of the harbor, all the grays and everything. This is another new like scene that we get in the Star Wars universe, and I feel
that all the planet that Admiral Akbar is from.
That's what I want. That's what I really think, because you see a lot of his people from his race there.
Yeah, and you see the money used is the calamari flan from episode 1 of season 1, where Mando's like, I can't do nothing with this. This shit is garbage. But then it comes back in this episode when he's paying off the guy. He's like, "Yo, can you fix my ship?" He's like, "Nah, I can't fix it, but I can make it fly."
Yeah, he made it fly. He did.
Bro.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yes.
That was rough. That was rough.
It was a rough build.
That was like you going to ask like your cousin, like, "Yo, I gotta get this fixed." He's like, "Yo, don't worry about it. I got a guy." And then you get the guy. You're just like,
that's not the vibe, man.
But again,
your cousin automatically failed the vibe check.
But I want to get back into like how this town was built and everything, because again, when you look at the Star Wars trilogy, we don't get to see many towns, we don't get to see many worlds. With Mando, you are getting to see more and more different places, different worlds. This looks like this was General Akbar's home. And it's just like that overall feeling. It just felt like what a space harbor town would look like on a water planet, and I felt like they captured that perfect for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the settings that the show does is just top notch. You really feel involved in the setting that Mando goes into, with the costume design and all of the different kinds of aliens, because I think Mandalorian does its damnedest to include all of the Star Wars races, and like just have them in their own natural, just doing their own thing, which is something we don't really get to see. Like, you're used to seeing, Twi'leks and Wookiees and, just the regular general races. But like Mandalorian is really big about just showing like every type of Star Wars race that's been in the expanded universe.
And I want to touch up too on the happy reunion. We finally get the two frogs get together, who was voiced by the same guy who is doing the voice of the female frog, which again, he has also done work for multiple Star Wars animations. But again, just to get that work, that's pretty dope. Shout out to the voice actors getting the work out there. But the reunion, and then the child savagery of always wanting to eat these kids. It's like it never stops.
I want to see how it plays to like, because again, we don't know a lot about Yoda and his race of people. We've only seen Yoda as far as I can remember.
Yep.
So
and Yaddle, Yoda and Yaddle.
Right. So we've only seen like those two, but there's never been any indication of like this like eating everything and always being hungry thing. I would assume this is more because he is a child, so I'm giving it that. But I see it's so like such a stark contrast between like Yoda and this child, like where it's just like I have no like care of like, oh, that's a life. Nah, like,
yeah,
I'm just going for it.
I think it's a power thing because if you notice, I mean, it to me, it's like this. It feels like when we look at Dragon Ball Z Goku, he's eating everything. When you look at other characters who are like powerful, they're eating everything. So this character is probably just powerful and hungry. But here's Alex.
That'd be interesting to see if
anyone expected Goku to
Oh man, that's great. That's
that'd be
great.
amazing.
Yes, it would be. Just her breaking out into song.
Oh,
that you
that'd be
know every show has a musical episode. That would be hilarious, but I know that's not going to happen.
No, it definitely
Yeah.
would. It would definitely take me out. I'm happy. You know, I'm happy with the imagination and maybe Alex maybe singing it himself. But I don't need the I don't need John Favreau to waste screen time on that. We barely get enough screen time as it is.
So right away, shout out to Sasha Banks. She Lawrence, what was her name that she was credited under again?
She was credited as Mercedes Varnado.
Sasha,
Is that her? Is that her government?
that's probably her government name, which I'm going to assume. But because WWE owns the rights to Sasha Banks, that's the name that they have. But she played Casca Reeves, then Katie Sackhoff, who people know as Amulet Black on The Flash, but she's also voiced the character of Bo-Katan Kryze. Star Wars Clone Wars.
Let's give her credit for where credit due. Where credit is due for most nerds. It's not from The Flash.
She's also goes back to Battlestar Galactica. If you want to get nerdy with
almost every nerd in the world is about to come for our throats because you were like, "Oh yeah, she's so and so from Flash."
But no, I mean this
long
is like
before the Flash was a thing. She was captain on Battlestar Galactica, a show that I didn't watch.
Exactly.
But I just know the nerds in the multiverse were just like,
no,
bro,
she is
first crush, you know.
She is brought up. She has worked on so many different characters in sci-fi, and the fact is this: the reason why I'm pointing to her work at Star Wars is because again she voices the character, and I was like, I thought that was cool. You're getting the voice actress to now play this character, who also, if you look at her resume, she has a long list of resume of characters from comics, sci-fi, and everything that she has played. And then you had Simon Cassianidis. He played the third Mandalorian that was there. And when we get introduced to them, we learned something new about Mandalorian lore, is that there was actually two factions, because when he saw them take off their helmets, he was like, oh, wait,
no.
Well, why are you taking off your helmets? And he questioned that.
It is something that is apparent in Rebels. So they mentioned that in Rebels. It's the only reason why, again, I know this is because I watched the why her character and the dark saber is relevant. But those Mandos don't have a problem. They mention it in the episode, like, we don't follow the old ways and the old religion and old teachings. Like, that's like, you know, super. What was the word she used? Like, not archaic, but like
zealots.
It was like zealots. It was like, you know,
Strong
it's kind of like religion cultists and stuff like that. That's basically what she was going with. That's how I talk it. But it's like she said that he's part of a clan or an order called the Watch, which is something that is like, oh, okay, so they're going really deep in building the Mandalorian lore. And then I like with her character, especially what we got, was that she is like, you could kind of take her a little bit as an extremist, but in the way she's trying to unite and build the world of Mandalore again, and that they both have a common enemy that united them in that front.
That sounds mighty Khaleesi of her.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's super extremist when she's, you know, when she's going after the Empire and doing what she has to do, and just trying to bring her people back together and taking back what's hers by rights.
The mighty Khaleesi, sir. Just saying.
But it's like there's a lot more with that I want to see more. I want more Bo-Katan. She when Mando worked with her, she lived up to, you know, her bargain, which shows you again that she does believe, and especially when she looked at him that this is the way. I was like, oh, okay, there we go. They about to get together and fuck shit up this season. That's what they're about to do.
Yeah, but I think it was just good for him though, just to meet different Mandalorians that are like outside of the Watch, just to like open up his perspective on what his race is, or not his race, his place in this whole thing of being a Mandalorian, especially since he was a foundling himself.
But Casca Reeves is about to become everyone's favorite because what was it? She jumped into that pit, with that water pit, to go save the child from
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that creature that snatched him up. She was like, "Oh, I'm going in. I got this."
Don't worry about it. It's all good. I got this. Like, with ease.
Yo, seriously, and like, how shady was that shit? They opened it up. It's like, oh, you want to watch it get fed, and then he just hockey sticks Baby Yoda into the water. I'm like,
Baby Yoda.
son of a bitch.
Like, what? And it wasn't even for the. And like, I thought they were going after the child, so I was like, all right, they're going after the child. They were like, that Beskar steel is gonna be worth a lot. I was like,
yo, and then like the one thing what I really love about the show, and they've done it since last season, is that yo, Mando gets his ass kicked, man. he gets his ass kicked. He goes through it. He is not like, you know, impenetrable, or I mean the Beskar makes him impenetrable, but you know, like what we saw in the fighter. In the ship when he's getting blasted by the stormtroopers, but
mind you,
you know, he's just taking it.
They are great warriors, and he is a great fighter. Like, we've seen him do awesome shit, but it was really dope. Like, every once in a while to see him get knocked down a peg, because it's like,
you know what
I
like that the Beskar steel is legitimately plot armor, because he's not going to get killed. You know.
But literally, though, that's the first time that stormtroopers hit anything.
Yo, facts.
They even joked about it in this episode. How like, oh, stormtrooper, oh yeah, they can't hit the side of a Bantan or something like that. What was it? They stormtrooper joke.
Hilarious though.
Yeah, and still you're seeing him miss, but then he's running in the hallway. He's like, oh, they're actually hitting him right now.
Yo, facts.
Also, I wanna go like fast forward a little bit in the episode. I know this episode isn't long itself, but your boy who was the Imperial captain and like made the decision, like Giancarlo came on the screen and he was like, nah, it's a dub. He was like, I bet, say less. Pop pop. And like there was zero hesitation. And I was like, oh, your man's is with the shits. Like he's 100% like for the Empire. Got it.
Yep.
Then,
it's like, yo,
it was like, nah.
If Gideon tells you to jump, you ask him how high.
but the gangster, your man was like, she was like, talk, give me information or I'll kill you. He was like, if I survive here and get back to him, I'm still gonna die. And it was,
yep,
bro,
yo,
so unnecessarily gangster. Like,
yo, the moment that the other Imperial commander had locked down the Mandalorians, and the guy was like, okay, yeah, so where did you lock them down? Oh, we locked them down to dock controls. He's like, okay, and then he was like, 2 seconds. It's like, wait, where did you lock them again? Where did you lock them again?
Yep.
Yo, you saw like the moment where he was like, all right, we're gonna hold him down, blah blah blah. He's getting his troops down. And as soon as they started shooting and his boy next to him got blasted, he was like, nah, lock this shit down. And started crawling into a corner. Shut all this shit down. I don't want none of the smoke. And everyone
you don't want it. You know, I love how it's like, how many are there? There's like 20. Like, nah, there's 4. There's 4.
That has to be
20. There's a whole squad of 20.
Isn't that a callback? Because technically, like the strength of a Mando is supposed to be like equivalent to however many men.
I mean, they're supposed to be like, you know, super fucking
superior fighters and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, and I guess you have the Beskar steel and all that stuff too. I mean, they're, you know, but they're a training society, fighting society. So usually, you know, you've got that edge when you've been learning to fight and survive for all of your life.
Listen,
versus these people who just got recruited for the Empire.
But shout out
to get out of student debt, you know.
Hashtag need to pay my loans. Yo, facts, you know, shout out to Titus Welliver, who played the Imperial Captain. He's been in a number of stuff too, like Red 2 and all that. He's always.
I mean, he's got that look though. He's got that look, that demeanor, that gravitas.
Yeah.
Like, as not like the main bad guy, but like the number 2. But like, you know, he holds it down.
Yeah.
But you need a number 2. You need a good number 2.
Also has like enough of like that I don't give a fuck attitude to play like that kind of role.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, all right, I know what needs to get done. Like he's like the perfect henchman, like, you know, associate kind of person.
Yes.
But it's like, where do you think they get their henchmen? Hunchmans are us. That's it. But other than that, I mean, it's going back. I like the relationships that we're starting to see more and more of. We get the name drop for Rosario Dawson's character, the Jedi. That
Is it
So
confirmed that she's actually?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it was confirmed.
Oh, so
It got leaked, I would say, in the summer that they had casted her for Ahsoka Tano, and that she was gonna. And I think they had said previously to casting Rosario Dawson, they said that Ahsoka Tano was going to be in the second season of the Mandalorian. So it'll be very, 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 very cool to see a Jedi in this. It's still tied to a Skywalker, but still,
loosely, yeah. Well, not even loosely, but where in the timeline is this again? Because it's still
it's
for New Hope.
It's after
It's after the original
Return.
trilogy.
It's after Return.
Oh, it's after Return.
Because remember, the Empire has fallen.
Oh, right. Okay, so I'm trying.
Yeah,
I was trying to place how old she would be because she was really young. Like
she was a child in the beginning of the Clone Wars and the Clone Wars series, and then so I would say like how old Obi-Wan was.
Yeah,
in
but also
episode 3, maybe a little bit older.
Okay.
But also, too, you would do it like this way is because, these are different races. They can age differently than humans, so they can also play that card, too. But
someone broke down, like, why Obi-Wan could have been that old compared to everyone else. And it was like, you figure he's on a dry desert planet. War, like, ages people. Trauma ages people. So, like, he's been through stuff.
And he's not really living in the best parts of Tatooine. He's living in the caves and shit.
Yeah,
living in the caves, trading with
watching Luke and Lars and the other lady.
But I mean, there's just a lot that they're doing with this show, and like I said, the first season gave us a lot of great stuff, introduction, but now we're starting to dive more into the Star Wars realm that we haven't seen before, and I kind of like the fact that we're getting stuff from the Rebel shows.
We have seen it though. We've seen it
in the cartoons.
I haven't seen it live action, and we haven't seen it this expanded on. I feel like we've gotten like taste of it with the cartoon animated shows, and we've got it expanded on in Legends or the stuff that like is pre whatever retcon has been retconned previously.
Yeah.
But now it's like, all right, this is proper canon, which is really dope.
But it still leaves me with this is that, there's some stuff that definitely should work, that works better as shows. And I'm glad they didn't do this as a movie. Like, I feel like, for example, and I'm going to stand in the soapbox, Han Solo, but should have been a show. It should have been a show. In Mandalorian is kind of showing that, like not everything needs a movie. You're telling a deeper story, and these feel like mini movies that you're watching, by the way. And it was like, it goes back to Watchmen. I'm glad they did it as a show, which I finally watched. Yes, I watched it. Thank you.
That's one out of like 8 shows that you still need to catch up on.
I know,
but like to your point, I think like all of these stories that are telling about a character, just their growth and their process, is better as a series. Like, I agree, Solo should have been a movie because like you're not really invested in any of the characters in Solo, and then they just throw in the kind of the Darth Maul reveal that they don't build on, aside unless you like really know the cartoons and know what happened with Darth Maul. But versus oh my god, I'm like losing it. The one where when they get the Death Star plans.
Rogue One. Rogue One was a one shot.
Rogue One was a one shot and a fantastic Star Wars film. Because they just had it had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and like kind of tied everything together. I mean, I think they killed them off, and I think that was kind of a weird way to kill them off. But I still like really enjoyed Rogue One as a standalone Star Wars movie for what it did. Versus like Han Solo's like I can watch in the background while I'm like doing something.
It's a background noise.
It's a background movie. But yeah, I agree. I think a lot of these stories for Star Wars, I think Star Wars has so much that use Disney Plus and like just like fucking give us something to bite our teeth into and enjoy it. Versus like the big soap opera movies that we have, but like there's a main storyline that we're gonna get, like with these new trilogies.
I think what the studios are doing right now is that they're actually looking at the formula that Marvel's doing, because Marvel's actually going to start taking advantage of the shows. We've are going to get what WandaVision, we're going to get, which starts in January. We're going to get the Winter Soldier, and it's like, yeah, let's use this to our advantage, because first of all, movie theaters, no one's going to movie theaters anytime soon. And second off, it's like with streaming, you can get into so many more homes and expand on your universes and your shows. But at the moment, though, I want to give a big and go back to Sasha Banks. Again, I loved her character in Mandalorian. I hope we get to see more of her character. I hope this leads into more work for her, because again, I'll tie to WrestleGate. Love wrestling, but wrestlers not anymore, and I feel like she did an awesome job as this character, and they wrote her in as a badass. She gave the look and everything, badass character, and I love the fact that she's a fucking gamer. She is big time gamer. And again, Katie Sackhoff, who I want to see more of these characters coming forward, and I hope we get more of them this season. What do you guys take?
We're definitely going to see more. Like the fact that she's so like hungry for that saber, I highly doubt that this is gonna be the only time we see her this season. We will be seeing confirmed only because I peeked at the IMDb for the next episode, but I also knew this prior, that we'll be seeing Gina Carano's character in the next episode as well. So that's gonna be dope. I'm looking forward to what that confrontation with what is John Carlos
Moff Gideon.
I want to see his interaction with Bo-Katan and like see like what like that entails, because they discussed like he has the sword, but I don't know if they ever really mentioned how he ended
Got
up
the sword.
No, and it may. I don't think he's a. And I could be completely wrong. I don't know if he's a character in that last season of Clone Wars, because I know the last season of Clone Wars really touches in, I believe, on the Mandalorian aspect of it and what happened with Mandalore. I could be off. I need to watch it, but I think that's what they were talking about. But I don't know how they talk about how he gets it, or maybe it's one of those things where like it's an heirloom or an archive, and Clone Wars happens so early on, and as this empire falls, it's something that he grabs, or it's passed down to him to hold on to, like one of those keepsakes of like whoever has this holds the empire, some bullshit like that. I don't know, because the big bads that we're seeing, like we're just seeing the regular empire dudes. We're not seeing anything with Palpatine, because he comes back like so later on and everything. So just them just trying to hold some sort of power in a world where like that has moved past them. Like the New Republic is there. They mentioned in the first episode how once in that place in Tatooine, when the Empire was gone, that vacuum was filled by that other group of people. So they're just kind of trying to do what they can with such a broken establishment at this point.
All right, there we go.
It was Rebels.
Yeah, it just gives more.
We are live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, you guys. So if you have questions on any of those, feel free to reach out. We are also looking to hit some milestones with the Twitch channel. So please like, follow, share, and subscribe. All that fun stuff.
We're hitting the 28th mark, so I want to do a couple of shout outs right now. So in the description, we are going to give a shout out to the Ascendant issue 4 from Wayward Raven. Their Kickstarter is up. Come on, guys. We want to get these guys. They're doing their push goals. Anyone who supports the Kickstarter, you are getting some bonuses from them. Monster Hunter for Hire by Matt Schorr. It's a Kickstarter that's almost funded. We want to get this guy fully funded, get his Kickstarter out there. We have a great episode with him that's dropping this Friday. We got to interview him last week. It's coming this Friday. And we just had a blast with that interview with Matt. Learning more about his characters, comics, what he's worked on. I mean, just to throw it out there, this guy did a comic that deals with Moby Dick as a zombie. That's right, you heard it here. Moby Dick as a zombie.
If Moby Dick wasn't as much of a nope as it already is, just adding to the fact that he's a zombie is like, nah, I'm not here. I'm not here for that good time. That is not a good time, sir.
So let's see. I mean, seeing that we're getting a lot of stuff from Rebels, and also too, don't forget we're getting a new Star Wars animation, which is called The Bad
We're
Batch.
getting a new Star Wars animation, and we still are also getting the Obi-Wan story.
Yeah, and then
I would imagine it takes place around the same time as Mando. It would explain his time after dropping off Luke, essentially.
but also too, we're also getting what they said is the Boba Fett spin-off series. I mean, how do you see these as being big crossovers too down the line, with some of the stuff bringing in from different things?
I don't see why not, but like, I don't see why. Maybe not to take away shine from Mando, but you can essentially do a side story within the Mandalorian with Boba Fett and not need to do a whole show with him.
Well, they're gonna do the whole show, but they already signed on for season 3 for the Mandalorian, which is official too.
Yeah, I get it.
And I feel that because Mando is doing so well, we're probably going to see more spin-offs, depending on the popularity for characters, or depending on because there's a lot of characters that people love.
And even for Boba Fett, though, we still have time. Like,
yeah,
Mandalorian takes place, I think, 5 years after Jedi, so there's 5 years of time that we don't know what happened. What did Boba Fett do? I'm assuming Boba Fett's been on Tatooine this entire time, so he didn't really go Starside.
Yeah.
Maybe they do it that way.
Maybe he did. You never know.
Yeah.
Could have pulled Arbor Queen left and came back.
Could have.
Now, I'm gonna say this: Mando has great parenting skills, because that starfish was coming after the child, and he was like, "Not today." At the very end,
he has good situational awareness. Like that was just a flex of the skills. Like he's always alert. But then again, you see it's literally just a tying callback to like season 1 to now of him always being on alert, because we've had people try to take off his mask, and we've had people like coming up to him when he's sleeping, and he's always like half like aware of the situation around them, which he has given what he does.
But I want to ask the dad of the group, how much of a dad move did that look like or feel like?
No, I mean, I agree that it was definitely like something's going on, or like just being aware that some shenanigans is going on. But I'll be honest, the more dad move was him eating the eggs. It's like, what did I tell you? Like, I mean, if I gotta be honest, like, it may be cool to try and flex and try to grab something out of thin air, but it's really, you looking at your kid and it's like, yo, I told you not to do this, and then you see them do it red-handed and they're like, like, I think that's a little bit more relatable than
oh my god!
Grabbing from the side. Aside from that, one thing I am excited, and I hope they touch on it too, is when they meet Ahsoka Tano and she sees Baby Yoda, she's a person who's interacted with Yoda, and what that's gonna be.
Yeah, holy shit! I did not even take that into account.
So like that revelation, and maybe explaining a little bit of like, oh, I've seen his people before. He was a Master Jedi, all this other stuff. So I think that'll be really cool to finally have someone.
Why did they assume that the Jedi, other than the fact that they know he's Force sensitive, but like, other than that, why do they automatically assume to give him to the Jedi?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you think about the Empire's rule in that galaxy. A lot of people don't want to deal with the Empire. That's their, their enemy. The other thing is that the Empire in the first season was hunting the child, and wanted to use him for whatever dark ways. They would assume that the Jedi, since the Jedi helped take out the Empire, that they would be the most likely choice to probably take him to them. Okay. So that's the way I get it. And
yeah, I think Jedi are just universally seen as just paragons of good and justice.
Right.
Except they really have a lot of hubris and let the Sith take over under their noses. But that's for another conversation.
I mean, we got time. You can get into it right now. Go ahead. Go ahead. Get on that box.
It's not that. I mean, fucking Luke Skywalker said it. Luke Skywalker said it. And one of the few times where The Last Jedi was actually a good movie. Him talking about the fact that the Jedi Council were just up their own asses, saying that they could figure everything out, and fucking Palpatine was there under their noses, just manipulating everything around them, getting the Jedi to do whatever they wanted, and getting Anakin Skywalker to be his puppet. without them, trusting or thinking anything of it. Or when Anakin would speak to them about what was he really thinking, and they're just kind of brushing it off to like emotion is bad and loving is bad and all this other stuff. So it's just like they got a little lazy. They got a little lazy, got a little comfortable.
Do you think that they're going to introduce what is the who ends up being Obi-Wan's wife or girlfriend?
I don't know. I mean,
what is her name?
I mean, Canon, does he have kids? I don't even remember if he has kids. I don't even know.
People want that. People want to see Obi-Wan.
I mean, we all thought Rey was his kid, and that would have made more sense than the bullshit we got. So
she's a Palpatine. We got to live with that now.
So they hint at Duchess Satine Kryze, but I feel like he has a kid. If I'm not mistaken. Hold on.
But yeah, also too, there wasn't much in this episode. There were some Easter eggs, but like I said, I mean, he's always getting attacked because of the Beskar. They did the whole Rocketeer thing in the episode. But again, it also leads back to wait. So got it. So we're not gonna see her.
Who am I thinking of? The one who has oh man, she has red hair and a purple saber as well.
I don't know. We're gonna ask Arliss on this one. Arliss.
Red Are you thinking Mara Jade from like the expanded universe?
Yes.
Oh, I think
she a Skywalker?
She
is a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, that was there's a whole series of what happens with the kids and all the other stuff. Luke's kids and Obi-Wan, and not Obi-Wan, and Han Solo and Princess Leia.
Okay. I don't know, for some reason. Okay. Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Yeah, with the lightsaber and red hair, that's Mara Jade. That's what I'm thinking. If
for some reason, I don't know why I thought that was like him and her had a thing, but I forgot that she was a Skywalker. So that negates all of my further questions and comments.
So what's everybody's expectations going into this fourth episode? Do you think that they're going to automatically give us Rosario Dawson as a Jedi warrior in this episode, or are we going to get another Mando episode? It has eight episodes this season.
We're not getting that to like 6 or 7.
Yeah, because
like seeing her fight,
like just seeing her in general.
I think we're seeing her next episode, right?
Really?
I mean, they're saying the next place he's going is to go to her, and they've been pretty on point with wherever he goes tends to be like the next episode, unless they do like what they did for episode 2 and 3, where get me to my planet with my husband, and then they do a pit stop, and then the next episode they get to the planet. But I mean, we only have 8 episodes left. I wouldn't. It would kind of be a bummer if they waited. I agree. She's not going to fight no one. I would say she doesn't fight no one until like the second to last episode.
Right.
But he also has to get his shit fixed. Because they got use that as a story.
Right. He probably can't make that long trip journey as it is. It says he's meeting with Gina Carano's character. I feel like it's not going to happen this next episode.
He's probably going back to Tatooine to get his ship fixed by a reputable mechanic.
You stop going back to Tatooine, yeah. Leave Tatooine alone.
AKA Wish Ripley. We love her. She's awesome.
God.
She kicks ass.
Leave that 2-sun planet alone.
But
wearing a womp rat's ass. They better not go back to Tatooine.
He has to get. Listen, she is the most reliable mechanic. This guy, the way he fixed his ship, it was like the only reason why
she's the only alive mechanic right now.
Listen.
Oh boy, died. Like we was good. We was good last season, and then they got him clipped. Like that was it. Party done.
Party done with that boat. I mean, it's done. But yeah, they might do that. But with going back to Tatooine, they may end up. We could potentially see tie in with again the whole Boba Fett reveal that we saw in episode 1. We still got to find out what happened to Agent May. Agent May's character, who
if he goes back to Tatooine to get his ship fixed, chances are very high that he runs into Boba.
Yeah.
Or it says Boba on the IMDb. We feel like it's Boba. We're all consensus that it's Boba. But Tone, I think you were the one who brought up the point that it could be like someone else in the place.
No, that was Alex.
Oh, Alex.
Alex said that Alex thinks he's a clone. Alex thinks he's a clone.
Okay.
I'm on the fence that he is he's just regular Boba, and I would also say that too is because he aged regularly, like he's aging like a regular person, where the clones had accelerated aging.
Yeah.
But we also because
the clones they meet in Rebels already have like gray hair.
But yeah, what about Ming-Na's character? Because we still haven't tied up anything with her. Ming-Na Wen's character, aka Babe.
She may come back to. We don't know if she left Tatooine.
No,
So
we're waiting for the body that stepped over her, the shadow. Like,
yeah,
I think that's what we're waiting on, and I think the consensus or the thought process is that it is Boba Fett, and it would make sense. I mean, if they go back, they go back. It's just kind of like a bummer. Like they went to like 2 different planets and then go back to Boba. They're gonna go back to Tatooine, fix his hyperdrive, and then take the express, take I-95 north and like go where we gotta go. Like
we've established that Tatooine is the Bronx. I-95 is going right through there. That's where that is the space Bronx right there, and I-95 is going through there. That's all the space traffic.
I-95. That is a disgusting thought, and I feel bad for anyone who has to do that. That is the most disgusting thought I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm not even a driver, and I feel so disgusted by the thought that someone has to drive in space on I-95.
I mean, look, I-95 isn't bad once you get over the GW.
Wait. I-95, the Cross Bronx. That's what we have to call it because I-95 does a huge track.
Yeah. Cross
Bronx.
The Cross Bronx is its own like circle in hell.
Absolutely. And it's all a roundabout.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
doesn't matter. You can go to Cross Bronx at 4 a.m. or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's still fucking traffic. It doesn't matter. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst.
Like I said, Tatooine is the pit stop off of the Cross Bronx. There you go.
My god. Yeah,
it's a hilarious joke. I love the fact that we're everybody's like, dude, why are we still going back to this planet? Oh yeah, we got that agreement. There we go. Yes. Delgado knows.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Tatooine is just like this like the heartbeat of Star Wars, man. Like everything happens on Tatooine. Everyone's from fucking Tatooine. Like Jesus Christ.
If Tatooine is the only thing that they are doing that ties everything else together, I'll take it because we haven't heard mention of Skywalkers. There isn't like there isn't a heavy amount of Jedi like lore like being tossed around or Sith. Like it's literally just Tatooine, and we're like, fine, I'll take it. But because essentially this is
and then they don't even stay in like Mos Eisley. They stay just leaving Mos Eisley. They go to different mode.
They're just
you're exploring more of Tatooine. It's like
it's kind of like having to go to, I don't know.
Dude, it's like going back to Pandora.
Pick any state and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the city. Like you fly in to like somewhere and you're just like, nah, I'm gonna avoid all of that.
Yeah, you have New York as a whole state, but like it's really New York City. Like it's, and like it's really like the 4 boroughs, like
Tone is on a fucking
like that's really today. What it is. That's really what it is, man. I mean, look,
Tone is on a roll today. I'm fucking here for it.
Like maybe we'll give an honorary mention to Yonkers, White Plains, and Central Avenue, but that's about as far as I'll go.
Spoken like a New Yorker. Wait, we're just giving Naja shout out to you, Naja. We know where you're at.
Naja, we love you, but just not your borough. Sorry.
She's in an okay section of Staten Island.
But even still, like it's like
who's paying that fare, bro? Like you have no business being that expensive. Like the fare has no business being that expensive.
Oh my god.
Like, come on, man. Like
There we go. They mentioned the planet with two sons to Ezra, Urza, and the Rebels. So I'm hoping he will eventually become part of the show.
Ugh.
Yes, we want to see more.
So someone is keeping up with the Star Wars because we just fell off the rails.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like, oh man, give us an excuse to go off the rails, and we will go 100% off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah, when our episodes get edited, woo, I feel bad. But no, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that they do bring more characters in because we're seeing more and more. I feel like Jon Favreau was like, listen, give me this. I'm gonna work with this, and it's been working really well with Mando. It's showing a lot of
he's really working that sandbox to his benefit
because there's so much empty space.
Yeah.
This is essentially for Star Wars what Gotham should have been.
Oh, that the TV show?
Yes, because Gotham should have been a blank canvas with a little bit of lore that they had established and just free world, free reign. But essentially what Gotham did was take all of Batman's rogue galleries and make it a mess of like trying to fit in his rogues gallery before he becomes Batman, which makes no fucking sense. Jon Favreau is like, yo, I have an open space and I have this lore which I'm going to respect, but I'm not going to double down on this whole family that's taken over the galaxy. I'm going to double down on the Mandos and the few things that make this galaxy essentially click.
Well, let's get back to Aurelius's thing about Ezra. Do you think that we potentially could see him as a character? I feel like because he's potentially a big character that was in Rebels, they would announce who the actor would be playing him, just like they did with Rosario Dawson. We didn't get much mention of Bo-Katan.
I mean, he would be much older because Star Wars Rebels is 5 years before New Hope, so he would be like super established as a Jedi and stuff. So it'd be cool. I would leave it out of the imagination that it would be cool, or potentially him himself, his character being just a topic of a live action or movie or something like that. Someone kind of carrying on the Jedi ways, but like in a different sense because he learned, because of who he learned from. So it would be pretty cool.
My question is, and feel free to.
Ahsoka could name drop too. I mean, she could do that.
What is so? After the Empire falls, after the Return of the Jedi, everything happens. Luke is essentially Venus was supposed to look from. Luke goes and trains more Jedis. Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
There is a few Jedis that still kind of exist in lore from Rebels that we're seeing. However, where are they between Jedi, Return of the Jedi, and Force Awakens? Is that ever explained? Because it seems like
the only one I know is we have Ezra and we have Freddie Prinze Jr. are the two that we see in the Rebels, and then you've got all of the the villains, whatever the hell they're called, whatever their title is.
I do have a small theory. I don't think they're because how well Mando is doing and how poorly the new trilogy did. I don't think that they're going to try to tie in the new trilogy now. I think that was their original plan.
I mean, there's no need to because you've got 5 years before even anything with Rey happens or the First Order or any of that. I mean, they potentially could bring in the First Order because the First Order fills in that vacuum that the Empire left and kind of what happens. But with it.
But do you think with the mentions that Aurelius is mentioning with the names of Sabine, Tenno, we're all thinking about Jedis now and all that. Do you think that they may take Mando to try to give them a clean slate? Potentially. I mean,
maybe, but it's going to be a while before this gets like clean slated. We also don't know.
We don't know what they're doing with the new trilogy that they're looking to do.
Exactly.
And again, I feel like they were so disappointed with how this new trilogy that they did came out and how it wasn't really accepted by too many fans. And I gotta say, I think it was definitely that second movie that messed it up for them.
Star Wars,
I feel like
mess up Star Wars franchises.
But the thing is that I don't I think with Mando, they're because like they did good with Rogue One, which we established that they did good with Force Awakens, but then
Force
Han Solo comes out.
I loved Force Awakens, but Force Awakens was good because it was a nostalgia fix.
Yeah,
It was a full blown nostalgia fix that we all gave a pass to. We gave a pass to Force Awakens of it being like A New Hope because the prequel trilogies were unfortunately garbage. But then it was like, all right, cool. We all love Force Awakens. We're here for what J.J. Abrams is doing. Some people were bitching about the fact that Rey was a Mary Sue or whatever. I don't give a shit. Rey was awesome. She was cool. But then you had the second episode, you had the second movie, and like at that point, now people are like, all right, well, this is now your empire. You've got to do something with it. You got to be different. Like, be different than Empire, but keep it going. I think changing directors midway through was a fucking shitty idea. Or if you're gonna change directors midway through, do it like how Marvel does it, where you've got one person who's like, "This is the way we're gonna go. We want to see how you do it, but this is the way we're gonna go." That's what happened with the first director for Ant-Man. I think it was Edgar Wright. He didn't want to go the same route they wanted to go, and they tossed him, and they got the guy who did Ant-Man. And I think they kind of give Rian Johnson his free reign to do whatever he wanted, and he kind of retconned or changed it up, and that we just had that whole mess. It was just a unfortunate, beautiful disaster is what happened. But I agree also with Law that Star Wars fans tend to fuck over Star Wars stuff. We can all sit here and say that Pedro Pascal is carrying the franchise on his back, but he also I think what Mandalorian has is you've got Jon Favreau, who I think is really good at respecting whatever he touches. But then you also have Dave Filoni, who is like the godfather of Star Wars at this point, and like he's been keeping everything straight when it comes to Star Wars, and having those two combined is what's really creating a good piece. Because I don't think if whoever was writing would do something off the rails, I think they would come together and be like, we can't do that. That's not gonna float here. Now I don't think the movies have that. The movies just kind of like two movies.
Yeah, the movies were, and I feel like it is a good way to try, because again, they said Rian Johnson's getting his own trilogy with what we see with Mando, with how they're going to play with Jedi lore.
I think this trilogy might be good.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm saying I think that it goes back to your point with they had no middleman controlling the story, and I feel that with Mando, it kind of gives a clean slate for them to be like, okay, we're building this other universe. We can do these sets of movies because, again,
Mando cleans the slate so much as fixes and bridges some of the gap. You know what I mean? Because
I feel like Mando is a breath of fresh air in a franchise that needed it, and it gives you, just like how Rogue One did, it gives you a perspective of what Star Wars can be, and not what it has to only be, which is Skywalkers and Jedis. That granted, everyone loves Jedis, everyone loves lightsabers. We all, you can take or leave the Skywalkers, and depending on your opinion. Right. But that's not all Star Wars is, because they created this vast universe of games and books and comics, and there's so much to explore. And to stop pigeonholing us with just one goddamn family. Just give us Star Wars and just keep that feel, which is what Mando does, and what we want to see moving forward.
But I was here for when if they kept Starkiller as a character, I would have loved to see him in a live action sense. But even going back to whatever the second one of the latest franchise was, but essentially I love that movie if they would have let him double down on where he was going with it, because essentially he was like, yeah, Rey doesn't have parents that are important to this franchise. Fuck that. He was doing all sorts of shit, and everyone was like, well, what are you doing? He's like, you guys want a Star Wars franchise that isn't the exact ripoff of the first one, so I have to tear off that Band-Aid. And he was starting to. Everyone got a hissy fit, and everyone hated it. And it was like, yo, you can't have it both ways. You either have to accept what I'm gonna give you and move on, but then you get a half-finished product, was what you got, which I was fine with, whatever. But it gives no credit to part 3, to the last part, because part 3 is trying to just
retcon City.
Too hardcore.
Yeah.
And
Hardcore.
by that time, it's whatever.
No, I'm with you. I was, and I know this isn't the Last Jedi episode, but we're just just to kind of touch on it. I was, there were some things with Ryan Johnson's movie that I didn't care for, but one of the things I was cool with, I liked that they had Luke Skywalker broken. I like that thing where like you don't want to meet your heroes because like sometimes they're just not who they want to be. Was I a fan when he took his lightsaber and tossed it over his shoulder? No, I hated it, and I felt they made it too comical just because of the reverence that item has. That's just my opinion. But I liked him like being like, I'm not teaching you this. The Jedi shit. I lost all the people who I tried to train. Like, because in the books, he has a whole academy and he's super successful at training all these new Jedi. So they,
I feel like they have this hero of the galaxy that they took down a peg, and made him so he's like tangible, like he's relatable. He has like flaws and like things that we can like go, oh shit, like that's a lot of pressure. Like you figure after the Return of the Jedi, he's maybe still like late 20s ballpark,
if that. Yeah,
he's still so young, like to be this master Jedi and like have the whole everything of what Jedis are supposed to be thrown onto him. Essentially, like that's a lot. So to see that, and then like what they did, I was like all for it. But then again, it goes back to like we get what we deserve when we bully or we get mad and upset because like look at the early pre-sequels. We could have had the most crazy reveal of like, yeah, Jar Jar Binks was playing the dumb like fool the whole time, and everyone was like, "Nah, we don't want it. We don't want it." I was like, "You realize that's the entire plot of The Usual Suspects? That he's just playing the officer for a fool the entire time, and walks out, and he's the criminal mastermind. Why would it be out of the realm of possibility for, hey, Jar Jar Binks, just like I was so for it, and they were like, "Nah, we ain't doing that."
I think what the Jar Jar Binks thing, and because I was on that camp, if I didn't really, I think it would have been crazy. I just think there was so much of it. Like there's so much of Jar Jar Binks in episode 1. Just so much. Like I don't need it. I don't need all that Jar Jar.
Yeah.
I'm here for. Listen, I love Qui-Gon Jinn. Liam Neeson as a fucking Jedi who's like against the grain. They need more Jedis like Qui-Gon Jinn. Right. They wouldn't have found out what was going on with the Sith anyway. And I think, and like kind of seeing with the console and seeing what they were doing and like learning a little bit more about Anakin was cool. But I just felt like they peppered in too much Jar Jar, just too much. I mean, he essentially, I think he voted for fucking Palpatine anyway. So when he was on the Senate, so he still contributed to the nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways, it is what it is. I mean, I'm happy with what we're getting so far. I'm excited for episode 4, but now I want to give some shout outs right away. So I got 3 shout outs coming up. So first shout out, I want to give a shout out again to Wayward Raven. Guys, the description is in the Kickstarter link is in the description. Check it out. Ascendant number 4. They're at their push goals now. Great stuff that they're giving away to all new backers. We have Matt Schorr, who again, I gave that shout out to earlier. Matt Schorr is pretty much the creator behind Monster Hunter for Hire. We get to talk to him. The episode drops Friday, so subscribe to get to see that episode. You don't want to miss it. If you want to get it early access to start backing that Kickstarter, the description is the link to Matt Schorr's Kickstarter for Monster Hunter
for Hire.
And the Monster Hunter for Hire. Yes, thank you. And the last shout I want to give out to is TAOS by Law. TAOS by Law. Law has just dropped his season finale Spotify episode interviewing who did you interview? Did you interview?
Part 1 of the season finale. So the actual season finale will be this Sunday upcoming. But I interviewed you two lovely folks, my brothers from another mother, my partners in crime, my my co-signers and my escapades. What happened to my camera?
Oh,
I don't know. Your camera
Yeah, we're just like, nah, bro, we ain't doing this right now. Like, what is happening?
It happens. That's the beautiful part for live. But yeah, check it out. Interview is awesome. Law made us sound very, very professional. Asked him some very hard hitting questions, and I found out that we're a bunch of weird dudes. So it happens.
Never mind to that. Bye to my camera.
Well,
I mean, I can switch to my other camera, but the camera's garbage. We ain't got
we about to end. I mean, if you want to see Jalal's beautiful face, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the episode. This has been another awesome episode of Nerds and Rounds, guys. Thanks everyone who came through and watched, participated. My name is Sebastian.
My name is Law.
And my name is Joan from across.
Yeah, like that was so weird. Do that over again. Nah,
my name is Sebastian.
No. Wow.
Listen, this is very much like this is like Anchorman. I am Ron Burgundy.
Like, it's your boy Sebastian. It's your boy Law.
Jesus, he's doing it live to you people. I'm sorry.
Why? This is what we go through for pre-recorded episodes, guys.
That's why we don't go live. Anyway, it's your boy Tone from across the hall.
There you go.
There we go. Also, be sure to check out the Medusa's Cascade. New episodes drop every week. We're so excited to showcase that campaign D&D podcast for you guys. It's been so much fun to put together, and it gets
made this pandemic slightly better.
Yeah. Anyway, it gets exponentially better with each episode. We promise you that.
The audio does get much cleaner.
Yes, audio gets cleaner, and the story and the development and our role playing gets so incredible.
Yeah.
And sit through. And I mean, have some good stuff for you guys, but check it out. Medusa's Cascade. No, I'm giving the blink. Guys, good night. Love you.
Also, you were winking with both eyes.
Later, everybody.
Later, guys.